Hey everybody, welcome back to our newest episode today. I am super excited to be joined with Chris Parrish of Praus Construction. He is a roofer that I love to work with, and we're actually here in Castle Hills in the realm at Venture X, which is a really great workspace if you are interested in workspace areas. So this is a brand new location and it's beautiful. So go ahead and check it out. Go, Chris.
Thank you, Savannah.
So glad
Happy
you're
to be here.
So we are going to talk about roofing in Texas. I think there's a lot of fear around roofing, and there's a lot that we need to discuss. So before we get into it, Chris, tell me a little bit about you and Praus Construction real quick.
Yeah, sure. So before I got into roofing and worked with Praus Construction, I was an elementary school teacher in Frisco ISD.
Yes.
And then after that, I worked as a personal trainer, CrossFit coach, selling supplements and all that kind of stuff. So I'm familiar with, kind of networking and understanding how to build relationships. And then one day, the gym decided to move a different way and took over some new ownership, and he had a whole set of plans, and I was not really part of those plans, so I had to find something else.
Okay.
So I wanted to get into sales. I wanted to find something that I can do to make some good money for my family. Made a list of things that I would sell, made a list of things that I wouldn't sell, and at the top of the list of things I wouldn't sell was roofs, because I didn't climb roofs. I felt like I would fall off ladders.
We have some tall houses in Texas. There's some really tall ones.
So I got connected through a mutual friend to my boss, and we sat down as a team, and it was like, okay, they believed in me. Mm-hmm. They thought, if his only concern is climbing roofs, we can certainly teach him how to do that the safe way. And they did, and that was 3 years ago. And now I love what I do. I love taking care of customers. I love helping people navigate through the insurance process.
Yes.
And it's a good way to make good money for my family.
Love it. You have the cutest family too. I just love your family. It's so adorable. And I love working with other vendors who have to. I'm really involved with my family as well, and we're all trying to work together, bring value to our clients, but also be part of our families as well. Because if there's nothing if you don't have family.
Right.
So I love partnering with other vendors like that as well. So how often, I love this question, because I made a video last year that I said that if you've replaced your roof and you need to replace it the next year, that's not uncommon. And I got lit up on the internet, lit up from people from other parts of the country who don't replace their roofs that often. They get a 30-year roof and it lasts for 30 years. And we're in a really interesting weather area here where we get some very severe storms.
We do.
And they come not at a certain time of the year. They can come in May and they can come in October. They can come, it just depends on what blows in to the coast. So how often are you seeing some clients getting their roofs replaced?
Do you want to come work with me? Because you've got all this, you've got it down pat.
I do.
Seriously, she knows what she's doing.
I need to
but we partner together.
I need to tell this to my clients because they just don't understand.
Yeah, so DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth sits right where the Great Plains start. Okay, so West Texas, they get tons and tons of storms, tons of lightning.
Yep.
It blows over here because of all the heat that Dallas-Fort Worth creates with all the cars, with all the buildings, all the concrete, everything. It creates a weird atmosphere. So once these big storm clouds start flowing over Dallas-Fort Worth, they dump.
Yes.
All right, and it happens all throughout the year.
Yes.
We're also in the Tornado Alley area. So we have like what happened last year with that big tornado that ripped through Dallas. All these wonderful, beautiful, nice homes destroyed. Totally redone.
And tornado, they don't discriminate. They're just taking out whatever's in their path. They don't care if it's a brand new house or if it's an old house. It's just taking out whatever it takes out. And what may happen to one person's house and across the street might be just fine. That's the crazy part. So each neighborhood has a different dynamic of some people need roofs and some people don't need roofs.
Right. Yeah. The only predictable thing about hail is that it's unpredictable.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes it just develops right on top of us and we don't know when it's coming. Nighttime, it seems like, when you anything.
Yeah.
So if someone says, okay, maybe we think we had some hail, maybe I've had my car repaired from hail damage, maybe that's a good opportunity to look at the roof. Does that cost a lot of money to have someone come look at your roof?
It costs nothing, Savannah.
Zero.
It's free. Zero.
Free.
Yeah. Any company that check out their roof, run away.
Right.
They obviously need to try to pay their bills otherwise.
And is
inspections are always free.
Is it like pulling your credit, where if you look at it once and your score goes up, is it going to make your insurance go up if you have a roofer come out and look at your roof?
No, it doesn't make your insurance go up even if you make a claim on your roof. It's everybody else around you. If they make a claim, that's when the insurance companies get together and they're like, okay, this zip code right here, they had so many claims, so in order to recoup the money that we lost as a company by paying out, we're going to have to raise the rates. So it's illegal for an insurance company to raise your personal rates if you file a claim.
Interesting. That's something I didn't know. Okay, so let's say someone gets in, they schedule an inspection with you, you come out, check out the roof. What does that process look like?
All right, so just schedule a time to come out. Homeowner doesn't necessarily have to be there. I just have to have an easy access to the roof. So if that means I have to go into the backyard, then just the side needs to be unlocked.
Yep.
Get on the ladder, put on my special shoes, hop up there, and I'm looking for hail. So I'm looking for each facet of the house, the front facing, back, right, and left, and I'm looking to see which areas have been damaged. Because if a home claim, the adjuster comes out, they're going to want to know the story of that storm.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to be able to show them what that story is. Are there metals on the roof? Do they have dents? If they don't have any dents, then chances are the roof is probably pretty good. But I'm looking for bruising. I'm looking for any anomalies, irregularities. I'm not necessarily looking for any scarring or anything because hail doesn't make those marks. Those are mechanical damage from when maybe the last roofing contractor or our company or whatever put the roof. Foot traffic in the valleys, that doesn't count as hail damage either. So sometimes if somebody's had their roof checked, 4 or 5 times in the last couple of years, and you're like, oh, well, it looks like there's damage up here in the valley where people have climbed, well, that's not hail. And so it can't necessitate a hail claim. I'm looking at the gutters to see if the gutters and downspouts are dented up. Even if the gutters and downspouts are dented up, that doesn't mean a homeowner replaced it last time.
Right.
So that's why the roof needs to be looked at too.
Yes.
I'm looking at the fence, anything made of wood, anything that can be stained. Window screens are huge. So all those items are covered by an insurance company if a homeowner files a claim, files a hail claim. And I also want to know when the most recent hail date was.
Yes.
So,
because most insurance agencies will not cover if the storm has been longer than a year normally.
That's correct. There's
so
365
you don't want to wait longer than a year to have, if a storm came through, you're not going to get it covered if it's past that year. Unless another potential one came through, sometimes that works. But don't wait too long if a storm came through and you're concerned. Even wind, too, can be damaging on the homes. It's not always just hail, because that can flip up the shingles, which then turns into leaks. Right. What does it look like inside the house if someone maybe has a leak? Do you know what that?
That's a great question. So as a homeowner, it's always important to check your attic, right? I know sometimes it's a little hot up there and you may not want to go look at the stuff you put up there and whatever. But looking at attics and looking at any type of, darker spots or something like that. If you see that on the underside on the OSB board on the attic, that could be a possibility of a leak. Or you can just look in the ceilings on the upstairs, look at the cracks. If you start to see any cracks or whatever kind of towards where ceilings meet, or any valleys or anything like that, then that could be evidence that you have a leak. Or if you see water pooling up on the floor, it happens. That could be a leak coming from the roof. We also want to check any plumbing pipes or anything like that. Now, I'm not a plumber. I've got several that I could refer you to if you needed that. But sometimes it's a plumbing issue. Sometimes it's a roof issue. It's best to just get both of them checked. Just to kind of rule that out. But the roof is an easy thing to rule out.
Because the maintenance beforehand versus getting into the full repair, especially on a plumber, you want to take care of something ahead of time before you get into a full job. What does it look like? Okay, maybe my roof is damaged and the adjuster came out and they said, you know what, we're going to pay for this. We need to replace it. Expensive, aren't they? Like, don't I have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars? I feel like that makes everybody cringe. I don't want to replace it. My sellers panic when they hear they have to replace their roof during inspection because they think they're thousands of dollars. What does it look like?
So that's why it pays to have good insurance.
Yes.
The most a homeowner is ever out of their pocket, the exact deductible amount. Now, a homeowner needs to know what their deductible amount is, and they might not remember with insurance. Did they get a flat rate deductible of $1,000 or $2,000? Did they get? Most homeowners have a 1% deductible.
Yes.
Some, though, get kind of pigeonholed into a 2% or higher.
I've seen 4.
My mother-in-law had a 5% deductible. Up in Gunter.
No.
Oh, it was a nightmare, and they had to get the roof replaced. So.
And you can't go back and change it.
No, once it's done, it's done. So be very proactive with homeowners. Look at your policy, look at your quote. I've got a couple of great independent guys. Can I name drop?
We'll bring them on the next episode.
We'll bring them on the next episode.
They gotta come sit in this chair to get their name dropped.
All right. So I won't name drop.
You know who you are.
But I've got a couple great guys that can look at your rates. Also, if they want like a flat rate, some homeowners want to be proactive and know, you know what, I'll pay a little bit more in premiums.
Yep.
Maybe like $300 a year more in premiums to get a flat $1,000 or $2,000 deductible. Then it's nothing. It's nothing.
Easy.
Then
and
it's just a matter
of that money. You should save that money up, and you should put it in an emergency fund.
Absolutely.
And you should just have it ready in case something. Because at some point you're going to get your roof replaced. Unfortunately, I've replaced 2 roofs already, and it's just what happens.
That's what happens here. We're the hail capital of the world, basically. And if you live in McKinney or you got hit twice in 2 years.
Yes.
If you live down in Rowlett, in 2015, 2016, you got hit twice in 2 weeks.
Yes, that was awful. And there were tornadoes. So that brings us to a good point, because when a big storm comes through, all these roofers come out of the woodwork. They come from different states, they come from different cities, and they come flooding and knocking on doors, and they're trying to get on your roof. What kind of tips can you give somebody to vet a roofer? To ask, because some people get their roofs replaced, it's not done well, they pay cash, and they disappear.
Yeah. That's a horror story. It happens. So, number one, are they local, right? Our company's based on Grapevine. We service all of DFW. I live in Frisco, so I'm local. Number 2, are they insured?
Yes.
All right. If you let somebody get on your roof and they're not insured and they fall off, I've fallen off a ladder before. It's not fun, but I have insurance, right? I have $2 million on my head.
Yep.
So if I, for some reason, fall off, it doesn't go into the homeowner. If you let some chuck in a truck get on your roof because they say that they're a roofer and they want to inspect it or whatever, and they're not insured and they get hurt and fall off,
personal injury, my former life, personal injury claims.
Okay.
They will sue your homeowner's insurance all day long.
Lawyers want that money.
They do.
Number 3, do they have a good website? Like, are they really invested in their business? Do they really feel like they want to be competitive in the market? And do they have Google or Facebook ratings, reviews?
Yes.
Yeah. We got tons of 5-star reviews. Go out and check us out, www.praus, that's Praus, construction.com. That's a little plug for me.
I love it. It's good. I'm going to put a little slide across that says that.
There you go. And you'll see some reviews out there with my name, Chris.
Perfect. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. So those are some good things. What's another? I just feel like there's something else about whenever it just gets flooded. Signs in the yard. That's another thing. Do you guys put signs in the yard?
We do, but signs don't mean anything.
Right.
When a storm happens, I've seen
They
it.
just plug them in.
Roofers will actually just tell a homeowner, well, if I can't do this, can I just at least put a sign in your yard?
Yes.
And they'll say no, and they'll put one in there anyway.
Yep.
Because signs mean nothing. They're garbage. They're trash.
Right.
Now, if I have a customer that does want to do work with me, and we work up a contract, and then we have a promise to work with the insurance company, I'll put a sign in their yard very proudly.
Right.
Because I'm proud of my company and I'm proud of what we stand for.
I put signs in yards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen where they just plug them down the street and then they pick up more business off of a false pretense.
And it doesn't mean anything because that homeowner may not be working with that.
Yep.
With that, I've seen it. I've been in the middle of a storm area or whatever. I've gotten called from homeowners who'd say, "Hey, will you come check out my roof?" And I get to their house and they've got 2 signs in their yard from competing companies. Well, aren't you working with company A or company B? No, they just stuck their sign in the yard. Do you mind trashing those for me? Absolutely.
Take them out. So, okay. Let's talk. There's been some rule changes. It's been what, 2019, September 2019?
Yep, 2019.
It was a huge rule change because insurance companies got some legislation passed where the roofers can't assist with the deductible anymore.
Right.
That is a huge deal because before people would just somehow, their deductible just disappeared and they didn't have to pay cash. But now you have to prove.
Well, Savannah, it's always been the law.
Yes.
As soon as you sign up for insurance, this is your deductible amount. This is the amount that a homeowner is responsible for. This is the amount that the insurance company is responsible for.
They go to the hospital.
It's way bigger than what the homeowner is responsible for.
Yes.
Right? Because roof claims can be expensive. If you've ever filed a claim, there's tens of thousands of dollars on the line, basically. But there was no law because there's no regulation in Texas for the roofing industry. So there was no way that an insurance company could know that a homeowner paid their deductible.
Yep.
Well, now, and I've even got the law pulled up, it's Referendum Texas HB 2102 states that Texas law requires a person insured under a property insurance policy to pay any deductible applicable to the claim made under the policy. So it's a law, and as a roofing contractor,
it's a misdemeanor if you don't.
well, we can lose our business.
Yes.
We can get sued by the state. Somebody can get fined.
There's jail time.
They can go to jail if it's a repeat type thing. So there's no more deductible eating, deductible swallowing. You can't advertise for that kind of stuff. You can't even say.
Don't be fooled.
Yeah, don't be fooled about that. Now, did I want to go any more further with that? No, I don't think I did. Just save up for your deductible.
Save
right?
your deductible.
Pay your deductible.
Because how do the checks work? Usually you get a little, talk about that.
Yeah, so you get a little bit up front. That's called the actual cash value. So let's say the value is, let's say the claim is $20,000, your deductible is $5,000. So insurance is responsible for 15. They're not going to give you all 15 up front. They're going to give you 10. And they're going to say, okay, this is enough to get the job started, pay your contractor, and pay for materials. Then once the contractor finishes the work, the contractor, my company, Praus Construction, sends off a depreciation request because the insurance company is withholding an amount. I call it the ransom amount, but it's really just depreciation. And depreciation is just a fancy word that means ransom, right? So once the contractor says, okay, we did the work, we finished it for $20,000, please send the depreciation value, then they'll cut the homeowner that depreciation check that they owe the contractor. Here's the kicker. Because of this law, insurance companies now require like a photo verification of the check being deposited by the contractor, the deductible check. So, in order to get the depreciation value, there has to be a deductible check paid on the front end.
Yep, you have to prove it. So there's no more wishy-washy, we'll scratch your back, I'll scratch your,
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way anymore.
No.
Hasn't worked that way for a long time.
Now, in order to stay competitive, there's tons of upgrades and everything that we can do. So I love seeing a homeowner's roof and being like, oh man, this color or this style of shingle would look great up there.
Yeah.
A little high profile ridge, maybe some ridge vent across the top. New gutters would look awesome too. Insurance is paying for you to get these gutters.
Right.
So one thing of value that we offer at Praus Construction is that we work hand in hand with the insurance company to make sure that everything gets covered.
Yep.
Right. I don't take just the first insurance paperwork and say, okay, this is what we're working off.
Yeah.
You know what, there's a lot of items that typically they miss because insurance adjusters aren't contractors, they're not roofers, they don't really know the ins and outs of the industry. They've got kind of a standard pricing list that they go off of.
Yes.
So we work with them on the back end. We have, actually my company Praus, we have former insurance adjusters on our staff that help us with the supplementation process. So
Talking about adjusters, you go out there and meet them when the claim is done.
I do. I advocate for that because who else is going to advocate for the homeowner, right? The adjuster could come out there and say, oh, well, there's only damage to 2/3 of the roof, so we're only going to pay for 2/3 of it. Well, what are you going to do then?
Yes.
You don't have enough to pay for a new roof. So I'm out there advocating for the homeowner. I work for the homeowner to make sure that everything gets covered. And plus, it's always good to have a couple set of eyes out there.
Yes.
The adjusters are really smart. They know what's up. So once a homeowner files a claim, an adjuster will come out for the inspection, the formal inspection. I advocate to be there with the adjuster. The adjuster is more happy to be there with the contractor that knows what he's doing versus being either there by himself and having to represent with a homeowner who may or may not be fighting for their rights.
Yes.
And so I do that for them, right?
Everybody needs a little bit of help. It's same thing in real estate when a house is getting appraised and the appraiser comes out. I like to put together a packet of how I came up with the price for the house and leave it for the appraiser. I'm not going to hassle the appraiser, but sometimes they want to know where the heck you're coming from, and it just helps them be more efficient and go through things faster.
And especially during like a heavy storm, it's a catastrophe area. So catastrophe adjusters come from all around the nation. You might have an adjuster from Chicago, Illinois, or from Washington State or something like that. Come. They don't know the story of the storm that happened here in Texas. They don't know how kind of work with the storms here. So I'm there to be able to help them, to help segue into it. And I'm a generally a nice guy. Okay, I used to be a teacher, CrossFit coach.
You're
I know
really
how to
good
work
at
with people,
talking with people.
And so there are some contractors out there that will try to bully the adjuster, or they'll send 2 or 3 different contractors from the same company to bully them to try to get them to pay for stuff. We don't ever do that kind of stuff. Like that's not an honorable thing to do.
Right.
So as a company that wants to be above reproach, I would just want to make sure I'm out there to help. That's
Yep.
it.
I love it.
If all he wants to do is have me hold his ladder and maybe point out a couple of things that I think might be amiss, that's it. If he needs help circling up damage, I'm there to help too.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the damage, because I know certain insurance companies have different standards for what they're going to do to replace a roof. So we could see a roof that one insurance company will say, well, this is a full replacement, and another insurance company will say, nope, it's not enough to hit our standards. And it's usually based on how many hail impacts in a certain area.
Right.
And that fluctuates, which is very hard to discuss with clients, especially when you have a seller who has one insurance company that says, we're not going to pay for this roof, and then the buyer, whose other insurance company, says that needs to be replaced before we're going to insure it. It's a sticky spot. Are you noticing trends with certain insurance adjusters on who's doing what?
So we're getting into kind of swampy waters here.
It is
with that
swampy.
question,
Don't let me pin you in, but it's.
I'm not here just for the softball questions, all right? I'm here for the tough ones too. Throw me a curveball here. So there are a few insurance companies that I prefer to work with,
right,
because of their professionalism,
yep,
because of the way that they take care of the homeowners.
Yep.
There are a few that really are
a reputation,
because they're first, homeowner second. So
are you noticing a difference between the insurance agent versus the corporation? Like if they have a local agent, is it helpful to have?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Versus just
because
the
if you have a local agent, they can help out. Like let's say you have insurance. Let's say you have ABC Insurance. Yep. I just made it up. You have ABC Insurance. The adjuster comes out from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, doesn't really know what hail looks like because they're brand new and they're not riding up the roof. Even though I've been out there and I showed 8 hits per test square. Right. For some reason he doesn't know what hail looks like, so he doesn't include it. Right. Well, if you have a local agent that is representing you, they can call corporate and say, hey, you know what? Let's bring another adjuster out here, maybe one that's local, and have them fix that out. So, as a homeowner, you have resources to help you, to advocate for you, and your insurance adjuster or your insurance agent, my apologies, insurance agent should definitely be one.
Yes.
A personal professional roofer should also be one. And that's who I am.
Yes.
To your clients, Savannah.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Any last things that I didn't cover that you want to talk about? I feel like we ran the gamut on this. What's the service area? I know you said DFW, but is it literally all DFW? What does your team look like? Tell me that. I always ask that question. What does your team look like?
Our team?
Yeah.
So we have an owner. His name is Scott, and he he built his bread and butter on this business, right? He's very good at it. Worked for a large roofing company, and then 10 years ago decided to branch off with another one of his guys and start a company, right? Right. But he knew he needed. So he on our VP of operations, Aaron, who used to be an adjuster for another insurance company, and he's now a roofer. He's also, he's excellent. He's a super great wealth of knowledge. I've learned a lot from him. I have a sales manager who kind of handles me, so I'm a sales guy. There's 5 other sales guys on our team. Yep. And then periodically through the season, we'll add new sales guys in. We'll add canvassers who go to affected areas and kind of represent us and try to get us inspections. We have a back office for accounts receivable and accounts payable. She handles all the money and all the accountant stuff that we don't want to do. Yeah. And then we have a supplement department as well. Okay. And so our supplement department works with the insurance on the back end to make sure everything is covered. They help us develop estimates for the insurance company, and we're
machine. It's a full working machine. It's not just one guy with a truck writing out paper receipts.
It's like Chris in a truck. Believe me.
It's the whole thing.
I've thought about it, but I love operating within the framework of a supportive, foundational machine that's built on like high integrity, helping customers first, and honoring God. I mean, that's really kind of a part of what our company is about. Not every company has to do that. You don't need to do that to try to make money in this, but that's how we operate.
Have you ever had to say to someone, nope, that roof does not need to be replaced?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
It's okay to hear that.
Because if I tell a homeowner that their roof needs to be replaced, if they let me on the roof and I say, oh, I got to get this sale this month, I tell them it needs to be replaced, and the insurance comes out and says, no, we're not going to pay for this, then I look like a fool. And there's no way that I can build a good customer. fool.
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to tell a homeowner, hey, you know what? You had a couple anomaly spots here.
Right.
Here's high def pictures I took.
Yep.
They're a little bit beat up, but the shingles look great.
Yep.
Wait for another hailstorm or two, and then call me back out.
Yep.
Actually, call me out 6 months from now, and I'll do another inspection
Love it.
for you, because people need 2 a year. They really do.
It's like your HVAC unit. You got to I don't think people realize that they should be getting roof inspections twice a year, because you've got tree branches that could be scuffing things up. You got wind that can come through.
The wind can blow the flashings up, and all it takes is just a little bead of silicone to fix that.
Yes.
It's pretty easy. But if you try to sell the home and it's got that issue,
It's
then it's
coming
going
up
to
in an
flag.
inspection.
It's going to flag the inspection report. The inspector's going to say, "Oh my gosh, this is
terrible. It's terrible.
It is terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah, having a good solid roofer in your pocket is
It's huge.
It's huge.
Huge. Which is why I wanted to bring you on today, so people
you.
can really understand what this looks like, and it's not as scary or overwhelming as many people think it is. I think it's just so much unknown about the roofing industry, and I really hope this video kind of gives you more questions answered than questions. That's what you more answers than questions. So if you need any information from Chris, I'm going to put all his contact info in the video information, and you can reach out to him. You talk on cell phones and text and email and all that. You can be reached by all those
However
things.
the homeowner likes to talk, that's how I talk. If they
Yes.
want email, I do email. If they like text, I'm cool to text.
Yep, phone calls, the whole
Phone
nine
calls,
yards.
everything works. So you can put my info on.
Yep,
on
I'll
your
put it on
video.
here. It's going to flash right now. That's what's going to happen.
Right here at the bottom. Call this number right
Love
here.
it, love it. Awesome. If you know somebody that I need to interview next, please comment and let me know who we should bring on next. That might have to be an insurance agent next.
I think so.
It's a good segue into
It's a
insurance.
perfect segue.
Love it. Thank you, Chris, for joining me
Thanks,
today.
Amanda.